miss another update.
Welcome.
An American fighter jet shot down a Syrian warplane on Sunday after it dropped bombs near local ground forces supported by the United States, the first time the American military has downed a Syrian aircraft since the start of the civil war in 2011, officials said. The confrontation represents a further escalation between forces supporting President Bashar al-Assad of Syria and the United States, which has been directing the military campaign in Syria and Iraq against the Islamic State. The American F/A-18 shot down the Syrian government warplane south of the town of Tabqah, on the same day that Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps launched several midrange missiles from inside Iran at targets in Syria, hoping to punish Islamic State forces responsible for last week's terrorist attacks in Tehran. The Guards Corps said it targeted the headquarters and meeting place and suicide car assembly line of ISIS terrorists in the province of Deir al-Zur, where Islamic State forces surround an estimated 200,000 people in a government-held section of the provincial capital of the same name. Continue reading the main story. Advertisement. Continue reading the main story. American officials said there appeared to be no direct connection between the two events, but they underscored the complexity of a region in which Syria, Russia, Turkey, Iran, Israel, and the United States with its allies have carried out air or missile strikes, albeit in pursuit of different and often competing objectives. For the United States, the main focus has been battling the Islamic State, also known as ISIS or ISIL. This month, Syrian Kurdish and Arab fighters, supported by American advisors and air power, began the battle for Raqqa, the militants' self-declared capital. Even before that battle is over, however, tensions have risen over control of eastern Syria as Iranian-backed militias, including the Lebanese group Hezbollah, have moved to extend their reach toward areas where the American-based fighters are also operating. Not only are forces loyal to Mr. Assad interested in controlling the oil-rich Deir al-Zur province and relieving the pressure on a Syrian military garrison that has been surrounded there, but the Iranian-backed Shiite fighters are also believed to be trying to link up with Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and establish a supply corridor that runs from Syria to Iraq and, eventually, to Iran. The confrontation in Syria on Sunday began around 4:30 p.m. local time, when American-backed ground Syrian fighters, who are officially called the Syrian Democratic Forces, came under attack by what the Pentagon described only as pro-Syrian regime forces and were forced from their positions in the town of Ja'adin, south of Tabqah. Several of the American-supported fighters were wounded. The United States had airlifted hundreds of Syrian fighters and their American military advisors near Tabqah in March in a generally successful push to cut off the western approaches to Raqqa. To scare away the adversary forces, American warplanes buzzed the pro-Assad troops in what the Pentagon called a show of force. That appeared to put an end to the fighting, and the Americans sought to defuse the situation by calling their Russian counterparts from Al-Udeid Air Base in Qatar. But the Syrians were not finished. At 6:43 p.m., a Syrian Su-22 warplane dropped several bombs near the American-backed fighters. Attempts to warn the Syrian plane away from the area using an emergency radio frequency failed, said Colonel John J. Thomas, the spokesman for the United States Central Command, which oversees American military operations in the Middle East.